What's up, folks? Welcome in on a Tuesday JE Live. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and today we're going to be talking about whatever the hell you guys want to talk about. There is some news. We got some interesting stuff after I went live yesterday. I went on the Jet Lounge. Shout out to them. If you're a Jets fan, you definitely need to be going and checking out their website, jetlounge.com, as well as their Twitter. But on top of that, John Wall ended up signing, or he now is going to sign with the Los Angeles Clippers. I know we were talking about that yesterday. And then in addition to that, we have some football news. Terry McLaurin has just agreed to a contract extension, and I'm going to get you the details right now, but it's pretty big. Terry McLaurin is signing a 3-year extension worth a max of $71 million. Comes out to be $23.3 million per year in new money. So once again, another wide receiver, and this is the same. This is the same thing we keep seeing, right? Another wide receiver getting paid the big bucks. So, yeah, that's right off the rip. Breaking news, I guess. I mean, not saying that I broke the news, but it's out there. But yeah, welcome in. Make yourself at home. Ask some questions. I'm going to answer per usual. I'm going live early today because I do have a concert I'm going to. I'm seeing Starset, the band, for the 11th time. I did finally confirm that, so I'm seeing them later tonight. So very excited about that. But yeah, I think first thought, and I'm going to talk about Terry McLaurin since it just happened, and we'll talk about John Wall, I guess, a little bit later. But this thought initially, Terry McLaurin is a very good receiver, okay? I don't have an issue with him getting paid. I definitely think that it's getting to be a little ridiculous at this point, and this is what happened when Christian Kirk got paid. We knew what this was going to lead to. And I think a lot of this, and someone asked me a question the other day, they're like, hey, Jake, why does, you look at, say, Jacksonville, like, do they not want to spend that cap? Why do they not spend cap? Like, what's the deal there? And I would just say this. I think a lot of teams like to, preserve that cap space, carry it over to, another year and go from there. But the problem is when you do that so much and you miss out on the guys you want, there's like a hole, you're burning in your pocket. You're burning a hole, and so you want to spend the money. And when you're looking at it, you're like, no one wants to come here. All right, let's just give Christian Kirk, who is a B- to maybe C+ player. I'd probably say more B-, good player. But, now they have all that money, and they're like, oh, well, we'll just pay Christian Kirk. Well, the problem is now there's some serious inflation because you think about it, and you're like, well, damn. I mean, now if, Terry McLaurin, with all due respect to him, is making all that money, you can imagine, and yeah, Alex, absolutely. It raises the bar for a DK Metcalf or a Deebo Samuel. So, yeah, the recent wide receiver contracts, I'll just say it's good that the Rams got, Allen Robinson when they did, and they signed Cooper Kupp when they did, because it's about to get absolutely outrageous. You have a guy in Tyreek Hill that's getting paid $30 million per year, and that is just, in my opinion, way too much. Way too much. Yeah, I mean, Cooper Kupp is going to get paid, what, 25? And that's a bargain. He's getting paid 5 less than Tyreek Hill. Can you honestly tell me that Tyreek Hill's better? I mean, come on now. No, he's not. Might be more explosive. Absolutely, he's more explosive, but he's not better. So interesting stuff coming down the pipeline already. We just started JE Live, and we're off to a bang with Terry McLaurin getting that contract. I'm going to change the title. Let's see here. And we'll put the Rams and Jets out in front of it. There we go. That's good. I feel good about that. All right, title's okay. It could be better. We could get better with title making, but it'll work for now. So, all right. Emma Roberts has joined Madam Web movie. Yeah, that's huge. That movie has a very good cast. Hopefully they don't let people down with that. What do you think about the Bills being favored in our first game? Very, very, predictable. I think everybody's really jumping on the Bills. And I not surprised, right? I'm a little surprised because the Rams are at home, but I'm not surprised because how much Buffalo is being pushed now. It's almost like, I don't know. It's kind of just like, oh well, it's in right now to like Buffalo, and if you don't like Buffalo, then you're not in, So I mean, I'm one of those people, so I can't hate, right? I have Buffalo playing the Rams in the Super Bowl, but Cooper Kupp bargain of the century. Yeah, I already said that, but yeah, wide receiver are becoming the wide receiver spot. I mean, teams are gonna look before they start dishing out contracts soon because I don't know what you do at this point. I mean, if you have a DK Metcalf, are you going to pay him all that money? I don't know. Maybe. I mean, what do you guys think? Do you think DK Metcalf gets that money from the Seahawks? And like you mentioned, Alex, Debo. Like, Debo is going to become very expensive now. I think Debo could get 30. I think he could even get 31. Because his argument would be, I play running back too. I think he could get 31. I think Debo's going to try to become the highest paid wide receiver. So the 49ers, I wouldn't want to be them right now. I'll take Cooper over any receiver. As of right now, yes, I would too. Jake Ellenbogen. Thanks, Young and Isaac. I appreciate that. It's very nice of you. Perfect timing, Jake. I'm on my lunch break. Awesome. Yeah, we wanted to go early today because I wasn't going to be able to do one later on tonight when I'm at the concert. But, it was very important to me to go live. Just half point. What's good, Jake? Not much. Just, chilling here, talking with you guys, you wonderful folk. And, I'm just enjoying myself. Came out with some content, was able to chop up some of the live streams that we did, and put out some of those video clips just for people that don't want to sit there and watch through the whole live stream after it's already been done, which is totally fine, understandable. So I mean that's pretty much what I've been doing. Let's see. Isn't Debo refusing to run the ball? I didn't hear about that, but is that true? Can anyone confirm? That's interesting if that's the case. That's certainly interesting if that's the case. Let's see here. Oh, I guess I thought I shared. There we go. I think the Terry McLaurin deal is pretty nuts, though. And I really do like him, right? Like, I'm a big Terry McLaurin fan. I have him in a couple of my dynasty leagues. Like, I'm a fan of his. Don't get me wrong, but he doesn't score a lot of touchdowns. He's never had a 100-yard reception season, which okay, fine, but I think that first year we saw the potential, 15.8 yards per reception, 919 yards on 58 receptions, 7 touchdowns. Now, hear me out when I say this. It's not his 1,000-yard season like the other two he's had, but I think it's his best season because of the pure production value. Because you're now talking 15.8 average. Then the next year, pretty good. 87 receptions, 1,118 yards, but he only has a 12.9 average, only 4 touchdowns, right? And then 2021, 77 receptions, 1,053 yards, 13.7 average, which is better, but, obviously you're not going to get 15.8 every single year unless you're like a Deshaun Jackson, but his catch percentage went down to 59.2, which was lower than 60% the first time in his career. His yards per target went down. So there is, and he played every game last year. So I don't necessarily worry about the injuries, but you're paying $23 million for a guy that is barely getting over 1,000 yards. And the Rams are paying $25 million for a guy that just had, over 2,000 yards. 2,400 to be exact if you combine the entire postseason. So I don't know, it's a little weird. They hit home on McLaurin pick. They get him in the third round. I thought it was an absolute steal. Loved him coming out of the draft. Felt like he was being slept on until I realized he wasn't. But the problem is, he's not much older than me, right? And I'm 26, so he's going into his prime. He's going to get this money. He's a little bit younger than Kupp, but what has he really done? He's been consistent. He's been good, but 3,000 yards in 3 years, he hasn't had the 1,500-yard season. You could put that on quarterbacks and stuff, but I don't know. I just, to play 17 games and only have barely 1,000 yards, that wouldn't have been 1,000 in a 16-game season. So, it's one of those things, but just something to keep in mind. I'm not hating. I'm good for him to get his money, and I like McLaurin, but I am a little hesitant to say this is a great move, if that makes any sort of sense. You've said this before, I don't understand the 12-1. I've heard that several times. Wish I could tell you how the black phone was, but my buddy flaked 30 minutes before he was supposed to head out. You literally called it. Oh my God. Would you sign OBJ to a 1-year deal or multi? I would sign to a multi-year deal. The Knicks are one of the top value franchises because they own MSG. That's why. But yeah, they're not, they haven't won anything since the 70s. Yeah, Rap on McAfee reported that a big point Debo was making is that he didn't like how often he was being used at running back, and he wants to be exclusively a wide receiver. That's partially why the Niners drafted running back in the third. Oh, that's interesting. Very interesting there, actually. That makes a lot more sense. Another $70 million contract was given out today. Yep. Money's just flying everywhere. Money I will never see in my lifetime. Hey, we're hoping for a milli, right? I'll see a milli someday. I'm not gonna say I'll take it to the bank, but I think I'll see a milli someday. I'm not seeing 70. I'm not seeing that. Why do people say that the Rams cannot win the Super Bowl because they have no fans? That makes no sense. No one worth a damn is actually saying that. You know what I mean? Just trolls are going to say something like that. What's up, Preston? Yeah, I don't know. And actually, I wanted to bring up something. I saw an interesting little, and I actually tweeted it out. But I'm trying to find it right now. Okay, let's talk about this, right? FanDuel Sportsbook dropped a little bit of a banger of a tweet, and not a banger in a good way. It got people going, right? Pick one player in their prime. Ricky Williams, Steven Jackson. Now, I have some thoughts on this because I feel like I understood what they were doing. They're somewhat similar, Ricky Williams and Steven Jackson, right? But it's favorite for Ricky Williams, retweet for Steven Jackson. We all know how that goes on in Twitter. People don't like to retweet. Favorite is the quickest thing to do. Retweet, you get the thing, then you have to confirm. So there's only 55 retweets, 22 quote tweets. So if you're saying that's the case, then Steven Jackson got 77 votes. Ricky Williams got 1,482. That's absolutely ridiculous. My friend over on Twitter, fellow Jayhawk and Rams fan, Ramhawk, if you will. Rams regeared. Dude had 8 straight 1,000-yard seasons. What do you mean short prime? That was the Rams team from 05 to 12. Do you know how bad the rest of the Rams were during that stretch? In response to someone saying Prime Steven was underrated, Prime was short-lived, though. I agree with Rams regeared. And I'll say this right now. I think that this really just confirms that Steven Jackson is one of the most underrated players to ever play the sport. Because I'm going to bring up his stats. I just was looking at them, and I'm going to look at Ricky Williams. And we could sit here all day and talk about, obviously Ricky Williams had his moments, right? Ricky Williams had some monster seasons. But I'm going to break down to you exactly why Steven Jackson had the better career than Ricky Williams. And I understand the prime. Like, prime was the question. And don't get me wrong, Ricky Williams had 4 straight 1,000-yard seasons, and one of them he went over 1,800 yards. But here's the argument that I would make, is that Steven Jackson not only had 8 straight 1,000-yard seasons on dog water teams with no offensive line to speak of, but he only had, his year where, his first year he had 254 carries. His second year he had 346. Ricky Williams had 2 years back-to-back, which he had over 380 carries. He had a year where he had 442 touches. And he had 1,723, so 1,723 yards from scrimmage on 442 touches. Steven Jackson, the year he had over 2,000 touches, he had 436 touches. So, let me get this straight. If we're going by prime, then Steven Jackson, that year he had 1,528 rushing yards on 346 rushing attempts in 2006 when Marshall Faulk was done. And he had 13 rushing touchdowns. That year, he came in 4th for the AP Offensive Player of the Year. Okay. That team went 8-8 and missed the playoffs. And he was 4th in Offensive Player of the Year. Now, here's the thing. We're talking about prime in this scenario. That's what, FanDuel was talking about. Steven Jackson, Ricky Williams, right? We're talking about their prime. Well, this is what I would say. Is that in Steven Jackson's prime, first off, it was longer. He doesn't get penalized because it lasted from 2005 to 2012. He started his prime at age of 22. Ricky Williams, it didn't last as long. He started at age of 23. He fell off right around 27 years old. So, looking at this, Ricky Williams' best year was the year he had 1,853 yards rushing. He also had more carries in a season than Steven Jackson ever came near. So, Jackson didn't even get that many opportunities. He had 16 touchdowns. Jackson had 13 and way fewer carries. His best year, he averaged 115.8 yards per carry, or 115.8 yards per game. Jackson averaged 95.5 because he wasn't getting all those carries per game. I mean, that's the thing. You had this guy averaging 24, 23 carries per game, which is insane. And then on top of that, this is the thing that cracks me up. Because, again, I'm not trying to hate on Ricky Williams. I think he was fantastic. But Steven Jackson had a average yard per touch of 7.3 in 2006. If he was on a winning team, he wins the MVP. That season was nuts. That's the season he had 806 receiving yards on 90 receptions. And also 1,500 rushing yards and 13 touchdowns. That season was absolutely nuts. And Ricky Williams' best season, he averaged 5.2 yards per touch. How was this even an argument? They're similar because when you look, the yards, the yards are there, I guess. I mean, Ricky Williams, he got to 10,000 yards barely. He's just barely over 10,000 yards. Steven Jackson got to 11,438. So he has 1,000 more yards. Yeah, Mahmood, you're right. But yeah, he's got 1,000 more yards than Ricky Williams. Okay, he played one more year, and let's be honest, the New England year, is anybody really going to count that? He played in 2 games. He rushed 21 times for 50 yards. He was done by that point. So you look at that, and then on top of that, like Ricky Williams had 2,431 carries. Now understand this. Ricky Williams missed 2004, he missed 2006, and he got hurt in 2007. So the fact that he had that many carries is insane. Jackson had 2,700, and he didn't miss a season. He missed games, but he didn't miss a season. Ricky Williams, of course, missed games. He retired in 2004. He came back. He had 743 yards, and then he missed the 2006 season due to violation of substance abuse policy, which was ridiculous because basically he just smoked weed. Whatever. But then, with this whole thing with Jackson, he had 69 touchdowns rushing, more than Ricky Williams did at 66. It's one of those things. Like, Jackson had more first downs. They had the same yards per carry at 4.1. Yards per game, Jackson averaged 71.5. Ricky Williams averaged 68.1 for his career. It's just one of those, Jackson was used way more in the receiving game, 628 targets. Ricky Williams, 466. Ricky Williams had 342 receptions. Jackson had 461. Ricky Williams had 2,606 receiving yards. Jackson had 3,683 receiving yards. Ricky Williams had 2,606. Jackson, yards per reception, had 8. Ricky Williams averaged 7.6. Jackson had 9 receiving touchdowns. Ricky Williams had 8. Jackson leads in almost every category. But one thing I thought was funny is they have the same catch percentage. Jackson averaged 5.9 yards per touch for his career. Ricky Williams averaged 5.6. Both really good. But, Jackson just leads in every way. Yards from scrimmage, Jackson has 3,000 more yards from scrimmage. He's got 4 total touchdowns more. And, this is the biggest one for me. Jackson had 23 fumbles in his career. And actually, the last 4 seasons of his career, he didn't fumble. Ricky Williams had 52 fumbles and didn't have one season in which he didn't fumble. He actually had seasons where he fumbled 7, 8 times, 6 times, 6 times. Jackson's worst year was when he fumbled 5 times in 2007 and 2008. So, I'm sorry. They're similar in what they did, but Jackson is the better back. Thought-provoking. It's a segment for the show, but that's not... I don't know why this was even that much of a debate. And then there's people in the comment... Let's read the comment section. If you say Steven Jackson, jump in front of a truck today. With absolutely all due respect to Steven Jackson, this is just putting Tyson versus an infant asking who would you take. I don't understand. Ricky, easy. Ricky Williams, no questions asked. Ricky Williams was an absolute lick for the Hall of Fame. One of the best running backs to ever play in his prime. There's no comparison here. Ricky was unstoppable in his prime. It's kind of close, but not really. It's Ricky. Ricky was just different. Prime Ricky. He had half the starts, only 1,400 less rushing yards, missed 3 prime years, then split time, still hit 10K. Ricky Williams in his prime, I love SJax, but this ain't even close. Like, these comments, man. Come on now, it's Ricky. Is this a serious question? It's not even close. It's Ricky. Ricky Williams. Are you kidding me? It's clearly Ricky. Ricky all day. Like, are you kidding me? It's not even close. I mean, you're right. I mean, I guess it's not even close on the other side. Man, Steven Jackson gets no love. It's already bad enough the guy will never go to the Hall of Fame because he played on a dog water team. But it's even worse the fact that now everyone thinks Marshawn Lynch is a Hall of Famer. Everyone calls him Beast Mode, when in reality, Beast Mode was always Steven Jackson. Carrying around a team that wasn't worth a damn, and that to me is Beast Mode. Carrying 8 guys on his back, that's Beast Mode. I mean, basically, yeah, they're just high off of, I don't even know. But, what's up, Nolan? To the people balking at the rumor, OBJ wants $7 million per year, I'd pay that in a heartbeat when you consider how expensive the... Yeah. Missed the last couple lives. Let's go, Jake. How everything going, buddy? What's up, Ryan? Yeah, you know, we're just vibing, right? Just having a good time. I mean, bummed that you missed the last couple lives, but, happy you tuned in. Appreciate you. I understand everyone's busy, so I do them every day now. I actually like them starting the season as a dog. I want them playing with a chip on the shoulders. That's ridiculous. Which upcoming free agent do you have the most confident in us re-signing? I want to keep Gaines and Scott, but our expensive depth at those positions, ability to draft and develop at that position makes me doubt it. So I think they went into this season probably assuming they might lose Gaines. And I think the hope is that Bobby Brown is going to take a step. And they're going to feel like, all right, well, we can move on, and use Bobby Brown. But I actually kind of feel like Gaines is coming back. I think the initial plan when they got Bobby Brown was to have him ready for when Gaines does, go into the free agent pool and they lose him. But I'm not going to lie. I think there's a chance that they pay Gaines. I think there's a chance they bring back Nick Scott. So I don't know about Darrell Henderson, but I would definitely love it if they could do that. What do I think about Freddie Freeman firing his agent? I never really take those stories that seriously, because you could fire an agent. I mean, you could have like your daughter's birthday party or something, and the dude just he double books you or books you to show up on like Barstool or something when you had like an appointment already booked or something. Like those agent stories, I mean, there's so many things. Like firing an agent, there's so many different things that can come out of it, but I'm not too worried about it. And I mean, there's no reason for me to be because I'm not a Dodgers fan and I wanted Freddie Freeman on the Yankees and now I don't really care. So, but yeah, I don't think it's anything big. Jake, do you think the Rams will trade Taylor Rapp this season after falling out of favor in the safety room, then the emergence of Brick? Yeah, I honestly think there's a chance they could trade Taylor Rapp at the end of training camp, preseason. I could see that. If they really feel like Burgess has come on strong, Quentin Lake, they want to keep Rusty Easton house, and they're like, well, you know what, we like Rapp, but he's going to be a free agent. We've already decided we want to bring back Nick Scott. Yeah, I could see that. Troy Hill's definitely going to start at cornerback 2 spot, yeah. That's awesome. Love SJax. Yeah. Essentially, yeah. I mean, all of Jackson's injuries were the fact that he was being, he's a workhorse. They used him all the time. I'm from upstate New York. Sounds like Andrew Whitworth might be working for Amazon sooner than later. Yeah, that's funny. Guys, be sure to subscribe if you haven't. Also, hit the thumbs up button. Really does help me out. And hit the bell icon if you never want to miss another live stream or video ever again. Shameless plug there. Steven Jackson was an absolute monster. The only bright spot, some of the worst teams I have ever seen. Yep, absolutely. Tell him, Jake, J39 all day. Absolutely. Rams should retire J39 number, put him in the Rams ring of... Yeah, I think they should. I think there needs to be a Rams Ring of Honor because you can't necessarily retire everyone's number, but at least like show some respect to them. You know what I mean? If you do it like a a Ring of Honor, I think that makes a lot of sense. Even though I know SoFi's not really a ring, it's more of like an oval, but you get my point. I think we'll end up paying Gaines in the hope BB3 fills Ashawn's role next year. That I could see. I don't think Ashawn will be back. I think Gaines, there's a chance they bring him back. But I mean, make no mistake about it, and you're on the right track here. Bobby Brown was brought in to eventually get one of those starting jobs, and it wasn't Aaron Donald's. So, I think at some point, if BB3 is not ready, like I actually just did a way too early mock draft for the Rams, and Jets actually. And for the Rams, I had them getting Brenton Cox Jr., the edge defender from Florida, because you have, Hollins is, in a contract year. I think this is a guy that could potentially be a first-round talent, when the season progresses. So I like the idea of getting some edge depth, or potential starter. Then you have Darnell Wright, the offensive tackle at Tennessee. Havenstein, his contract is expiring soon. Wright, I think, is a very solid plug-and-play potential right tackle. Could also play left, so that's why I had him. Fabian Lovett I had at pick 156 out of Florida State, the defensive lineman. I think if the Rams were looking for depth in the defensive line, if they do lose a Gaines or Ashawn or whoever, Lovett is a very good option there. John Michael Schmitz, I want to say his name right. Yeah, John Michael Schmitz out of Minnesota. Interior offensive line from the Big Ten. Sign me up all day. I think he's good value because I think he could play, guard. I think he could play center. He gives you some value there because you do have coming up, Edwards was 2019. So, he's going into a contract year. So Schmitz is going to be there. And then I had DeJordan Strong to add some depth to the cornerback spot because Troy Hill and David Long, their contracts expire at the end of the year. Brandon Thomas I put in there, the running back out of Memphis, to replace Darrell Henderson if they end up losing him. And then I had Trey Dean III, who I'm sure you've heard of. Former, this guy was being talked about as a top 5 pick at one point. If you look at old mock drafts from 2023, back in like 2021 or 2020, Trey Dean was going top 5. So, I have him. He could play corner. He could play safety. I like the upside there. You're potentially losing one of the two safeties, if not both, in Rapp and Scott. So figured I would go there. And then with the Jets, if anyone's interested, I got Jalen Carter, pick 5. I understand. Look, I think the Jets are going to win 8 to 10 games this year. You can put it in the book. I think that, but I used a mock draft database. And so for that reason, they had him picking 5th. So I had them taking Jalen Carter, defensive lineman out of Georgia. I think with the uncertainty about Quinnen Williams long term, all of that, I think Jalen Carter makes sense. Then Connor McGovern, contract year, I had them going out and getting Jarrett Patterson, the center out of Notre Dame. He's the best center in the draft. Owen Papo, I don't even know if I'm saying his name right, but the linebacker out of Auburn is like the next, and hopefully, Dylan Moses finds his stride in the NFL, but he's like the next Dylan Moses essentially, in college, as that type of level of talent and athleticism. As long as he stays healthy, he's going to be fine. Then I have the Jets selecting Blake Freeland out of BYU, who is the basically the protection there for Zach Wilson at BYU, so that makes sense. DeMarvion Overshone from Texas, very talented. And then I added Jadon Hazelwood and Ronnie Hickman to wrap up the draft and add some depth. So those are my way too early mock drafts for both the Rams and the Jets. If you have any questions, I guess I could make a full-length video. I just don't think it would do that well because not many people are into the draft here in June, So that's that. But let's see here. What do you think Sweat would be a good fit for the defense from Washington? I think he'd be a good fit. I just don't necessarily I don't get why Washington would do it, but I made a whole video on that, but yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be against it because I really do like Sweat's ability, his pass rush ability, and obviously he can stop the run. He's incredibly athletic, but Steven Jackson is one of the best running backs ever in Rams history. Absolutely. SJ39, Falk, or Ed, who you taking? I'm taking Falk all day. Marshall Falk was the most intelligent running back the Rams have ever seen. Marshall Falk was the best running back the Rams have ever seen. I'll say that all day. I think his ability in the passing game, his ability to be the extension of the coaching staff, be a quarterback on the field, his pass protection, it's just rare to have that blend and not even be the biggest back. You know, SJ was what, 6'3", 6'2". You had Todd Gurley at 6'1". Dickerson was what, 6'3" as well. You know, Marshall Faulk was 5'10". So, you know, I think he was the best personally, but that's who I would take. Yeah, the kid out of Florida can really rush the passer. So I'm gonna be watching those guys this season for sure. Imagine Marshall Faulk in his prime in the Rams offense today. What do you think? He's going over 1,000 yards. Sean McVay would use him like no running back's ever been used before. Like 1,000 yards receiving is what I mean. Edie and Faulk and Jackson, top 3 running backs. Do you agree? It's hard to say Jackson, and here's why. As much as I love Jackson, I feel like Todd Gurley might have actually been on that level. So I don't know. I think it's better to do a top 4 because I can't leave out Todd Gurley. I just can't. At one point he was the most dominant player in the NFL other than Aaron Donald. So it's hard to leave out that. But what do you think about Wall to the Clippers? I mean, is Wall going to play? That's the thing. Wall's never healthy. That's always been my biggest knock on him. You know what I mean? I just feel like that's my biggest knock is that if like he has played like as many games as you and I the last 2 years. I'm kidding, but he hasn't played a lot. So I do think that's definitely a concern. Yeah, that's what I would say about that. Hard not to love him, man. He was such a fun talent. Loved watching him. Yeah, you can't forget about Gurley, man. Gotta keep that legend going. I mean, it's not a legend, right? It happened. Although I guess he's a legend in a sense. Todd was awesome. Love Todd. I met Todd. Yeah, if they stay healthy, I mean, you're talking about, you know, John Wall, if he's healthy, is still a really good player. Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. You know, I like the way that looks. I think they got Zubac still. I would have to look up their roster, to be honest with you, because I don't remember exactly like who's under contract, who's not going to be under contract, all of that. So I'll look that up real quick so that way I can actually like, you know, speak on it. But yeah, the Clippers are looking very good, and I definitely can, you know, I can see they got Paul George, they got Kawhi Leonard. It looks like Kennard is under contract. They got Powell's under contract. They got Covington. They got Marcus Morris, Jackson, Zubac. Well, they have Zubac's bird rights. Yeah. Terrence Mann. Yeah, they're kind of loaded. I really don't like the Clippers as a Laker fan, but they're loaded. They're really loaded, Mahmood. And they got negative 60 cap space, so I don't even know how they're going to get John Wall, to be honest with you, but apparently he's going to sign there, so yeah. Who is that? I've never even heard of that. General Booty? Marshall Faulk was the only running back in history to get to 2,000 yard seasons, all-purpose yards. Yeah, he was insane. Early round draft strategy this year, well, I think it's a league where, you know, you have a lot of talent coming in at wide receiver. I think running back, you're getting... See, running backs, people have kind of... You can look at it in 2 different ways, right? So, in fantasy, on one hand, you could say, well, there's not a lot of, bell cow backs anymore. And you could be like, because of that, I have to go and get one. So that's the first thing you can do. And you could try and get the bell cow backs. There's not many. But the second thing you could do, if you don't do that, you could look at it the other way and say, well, there's not many bell cow backs, so doesn't the running back has been kind of devalued in a sense. Because if you think about it, if you're not getting, and think about this, even Jonathan Taylor still has to, give some carries to Nyheim Hines and, receptions. Derrick Henry is pretty much the only one that, no one is touching him. So, I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things where if you don't hit on either of those, if you don't get either of those guys, I probably wouldn't go top, running back top. I would probably wait. You could probably find a lot of value. I mean, think about it. Michael Carter still has plenty of value. I have both Michael Carter and Breece Hall scoring more points than Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson this year in fantasy. You can go out and you can get Michael Carter late. So I would probably go, you want to stock up on receivers, wait on quarterback, never pick a quarterback until at least round 8, I would say, and maybe even wait longer if you can. But I would go wide receivers, maybe a tight end if worth it, and, you can wait a little bit on running backs now. It's not the league anymore where you have to draft running backs in the first 2 rounds. So that would be my strategy. You don't have to listen to me, but... Oh, you're serious. I thought you were memeing. Todd Gurley was on his way to a great career. Oh, absolutely. Would have been a Hall of Famer. Really unfortunate. I'd be all for it. I just don't think he wants to come back. No, Todd. I mean, Todd didn't retire as anything. His contract expired with the Falcons, and he just didn't. He didn't come back. Yeah, I get that. Only problem with Clippers is that they keep choking in injuries. Yeah, that's a pretty big problem. Marshall Faulk was the only running back in history to have 4 consecutive 2,000-yard seasons, all-purpose yards, what I meant to say. Got you. Yeah, and that's huge. Not talked about nearly enough. Curious what your ideal scenario for the Lakers would be. I don't even know. I have no idea. That's a great question because I genuinely don't even know how to answer it. The Lakers have negative $53 million in cap space. On the roster right now, they have Russell Westbrook, LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Talen Horton-Tucker, Kendrick Nunn, Stanley Johnson, Wayne Gabriel, and Austin Reeves. So, that's the thing. They have cap holds on other guys. They have a cap hold on Carmelo Anthony, DJ Augustine. They have one on Dion Waiters, I guess. I totally forgot about that. I totally forgot they had Dion Waiters. Malik Monk needs to be back, though. 100% they need to make sure they bring back Malik Monk. Bradley Beal's not leaving. I think he actually, legitimately, I think he committed to Washington. Yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what they can do, Oh, forgot. They do have Max Christie. Because they drafted him. And they'll have, the guys that, Scottie Pippen Jr., and they'll have Shareef O'Neal, Shaq's kid. But, yeah, it's not great. It's not great. I mean, it's why, having 3 max players on your team, you can only do so much with that. So, but with what money would they be able to do that? So, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't even know what you would do with the Lakers. I think it's pretty much going to be the same team as last year, core wise. My hope is that they just bring back Malik Monk because man, he was so huge for the Lakers last year. And I mean, the guy is young. He's only 24 years old. This is why I have an issue with the NBA though. He's 24 years old and his team already gave up on him. Not the Lakers, but Charlotte. You know? What's up, Rams fan? Yes, please hit the like button if you haven't already. Really does help out the channel. I really don't want them to. I really want Westbrook to work out, and I don't know if it will. Some guys just aren't meant for to play with certain players, play in a certain system, whatever. But he's one of my favorite players. So is LeBron. I mean, Anthony Davis is the one that I'm really like. Dude is never healthy. I don't know. His contract is up in 2025. Is an early termination option in 2024. So, and I don't think he has the option either. I think it's a team option. No, it's got to be a player option. It doesn't say, but it just says early termination option. I don't know. Yeah, it's not good. Like, the Lakers really, they're not in a good spot right now. Oh, man. I like what the Celtics did, to be fair, but that's really funny. I mean, the Boston Celtics, let's look at them for a second. So, Tatum and Jalen are paid. They already got the extensions. Boston has negative $40 million in cap. I mean, Al Horford is on the books for 26.5. They should probably move on from Al Horford if they can. I don't even know how you would do that, but Robert Williams is 10 million against the cap. Derek White 16, Marcus Smart 17. I don't know. It's gotten to the point where I'm like, why even is there a cap in the NBA? People always go over it. It's like, I don't know. Like, how is it any different than baseball? Like, essentially, guys who don't deserve to get paid as much as they get paid as much as they get paid. Like, I don't. Daniel Tice is making $8.6 million a year. Daniel Tice. Al Horford is making 26.5. Like, I mean, at least Al Horford's good. But, like, bro, Al Horford, you ready for this? Al Horford has made $265 million in his career. He's made $110 million, the most he's ever made in his career, his last 4 seasons in Boston. Like, with the Hawks, he made $75 million. He was on the Sixers for 1 year. He made 26. He was on Thunder for 1 year. He made 27. I don't know, man. NBA players get paid out the wazoo, and I'll never understand as to why. I don't mean to hate. I just, like, with football, you get paid a lot because it's a violent sport. There's a lot on the line. Well, they only play 17 games. Yeah, but those 17 games, they're mashing each other's skull in. With basketball, I mean, they fall on the ground pretending they got hit. That's how often they don't get hit. I mean, I don't know. All you need to know is Danilo Gallinari is getting paid $21.4 million. Like, why? He averaged 11 points last year, 4 rebounds. Like, why is this guy getting paid that much money? I don't understand. Like, NBA contracts don't make sense to me. They just don't. Al Horford's getting paid $25 million. Ben Simmons is making $35 million to play Warzone on Twitch. I'm just telling it like it is. Joe Harris is getting paid $18 million. I forgot he was on the Nets. Let's go to Charlotte. Okay? Gordon Hayward's getting paid $30 million. One of the most overrated players in the NBA, period. Mason Plumlee's getting paid $9 million. Let's go to the Chicago Bulls. I don't really have an issue with anybody, like, how they're getting paid on there. I mean, maybe, like, Alex Caruso getting paid $9 million. That might be a little high, but... Cavaliers. Kevin Love is making $28 million a year. Kevin Love. Jarrett Allen was an all-star, and he's getting paid $8 million less than Kevin Love. I don't get it. Darius Garland's getting paid $8 million right now. Like, he's going to have to get paid soon. How about the Mavericks? Tim Hardaway Jr. is making $19 million a year. Davis Bertans is making $16 million. You want to know what Davis Bertans did last year? He had 5 points per game. He averaged 5 points per game, 2 rebounds, and he shot the lowest three-point percentage of his entire career at 33%. And that's the guy. He is making $18 million or $16 million. Like, that's ridiculous. I don't know. Like, I can't. Like, like, what are we doing? Okay, like, yeah, Jokic, he just won back-to-back MVPs. He's making 33. Michael Porter Jr. is making $29 million. I don't know, man. I don't know. Just going through it, I mean, like, I'm blown away. The Pistons apparently thought it was a good idea to trade Jeremy Grant away. I didn't really understand that, but... I mean, then again, they're paying Kelly Olynyk $12 million. It's not like they're making great decisions either. Golden State. Yeah, look at Golden State. I mean, they're spending a lot. You know, Steph Curry's 48. Klay Thompson's 40. As good as Klay is, he's not worth 40. Wiggins is 33. As great as he is, and I love Wiggins to death, I don't know if he's worth 33. Draymond Green, much as I like Draymond Green, I don't know if he's worth 25. A lot of these are just, like, weird. Eric Gordon is over in Houston making $19 million. Eric Gordon. I don't know. I mean, TJ McConnell is in Indiana making $8 million a year. No idea. I'm just going through all these because these contracts are so bad. This league is full of terrible contracts. But the Horford one has to be one of the worst ones, I think. Bertans is probably the worst one I've seen. Horford's up there, and he's actually good. The Heat are paying Duncan Robinson $16 million per year. Like, Duncan Robinson's good, but, like, wow. That's nuts. And the Bucks are paying Grayson Allen $8 million. Dear God. Let's look at the Timberwolves. Patrick Beverley is making $13 million to run around and do cardio for 48 minutes. Okay. Wow. Wow. I can't even believe that Patrick Beverley's making $13 million a year. Then again, Zion Williamson's making $13 million a year to just basically sit on the sit courtside and eat cheeseburgers all day. He's over 300 pounds now, I'm pretty sure. There's no way that guy's ever gonna get. I don't think he's gonna work in the NBA. I don't. He's very, very talented. I just don't see him staying healthy. The Knicks are paying Alec Burks $10 million. They're paying Evan Fournier $18 million. We're just going through the whole league. The Thunder have a gajillion picks, but they're paying Derek Favors, the corpse of Derek Favors, $20 million or $10 million. Mahmoud, I didn't even know when I made that Favors joke. I thought he was still on the Jazz. Paying him $10 million. I don't know, man. Nope, he's on the Thunder. I mean, I don't know. Terrence Ross is making $11 million. He averaged 9 points last year. He shot 29% from 3-point and shot 39% from the field. But yeah, definitely worth that. Double digits. Get it to Terrence Ross. I mean, the 76ers are paying Tobias Harris like Jaylen Brown money, so actually more than that. Tobias Harris makes more than Joel Embiid. That's a fact. Tobias Harris makes more than Joel Embiid. I can't with some of these contracts, man. Let's look at the Suns. Paying $10 million to Jay Crowder, $9 million to Landry Shamet. Trailblazers. Eric Bledsoe's getting paid 19. Jeez. I mean, the Kings are a dumpster fire organization, but Harrison Barnes, 18 million. I don't know. Raptors. Siakam's clearly fallen off from 35 million. He's not even worth that anymore. Utah Jazz. Rudy Gobert, 38 million. Mike Conley, 22 million. Bogdanovich, 19 million. They're paying Royce O'Neal 9 million to just be a defensive guy. And then the last one here, the Wizards. Oh boy. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope, 14 million. They're paying Porzingis $33 million this year. 33 million. Kristaps Porzingis. Wow. I don't know. That's a good point. The Lakers will probably use the MLE on the mid-level exception on Monk. I figured it was a player option. What's up, Matt? It still makes me laugh. I mean, it pretty much is. You're not wrong. I just went through and I looked at all of them. I don't know why they're paying. Golden State's gonna end up giving that dude a contract that he's not worth. Kayvon Looney. They're not trying to make any big moves. I think Rubio's or Devontae are the best options. Al Horford, the richest Dominican ever, and most of them play baseball. That's funny. What's up, Nolan? I need Horford's agent. Oh, man. Al Horford release takes 8 days. Not going to lie, though, Horford was a necessity in those playoffs. He was the best player on the team for a couple games. I agree with that. Horford came through. Like, he earned his money, but $30 million to go off the bench. Oh, man. I'm a Rob Horford. I'd like to see Tatum bulk up. I'd like to see that, too. What's up, Paul? Appreciate it. Oh, nice. Where'd you go on vacation? NBA contracts are ridiculous. Yeah, they're out there for sure. Oh man, Hawks definitely overpaid Gallo, big time. But then again, the Yankees overpaid for Joey Gallo, so there are 2 Gallos that were getting overpaid. Yeah, I don't know the big deal with Tim Hardaway Jr. I don't know why he got paid so much money so many times. That's true. That's true. I will say some of these guys like Bertans, I remember he was pretty good that one year in Washington, but that deal is still insane. Oh, it sounds like John Wall is already going to end up on the Clippers. Sounds like it's going to be a done deal. That's a lot of stock trading there, Mahmood. That's a lot of gold and silver. Forgot about Hardaway Jr. Yeah, he's very forgettable. Not his money, but NFL obviously less fair than NBA and pay. Yeah. The Rams and the NBA would be paying everyone $50 million, pretty much. Jake, I see that Stan Kroenke won another championship this year. He did. That's his 3rd. He also won a lacrosse championship as well, or his team. Wiggins is not that good. Biggest draft bust ever in terms of living up to hype. I don't know if that's fair. I do feel like his draft bust, like the draft hype went down a lot when Embiid broke onto the scene. Like, that's the thing. Embiid was the best player at Kansas. Like, I know I watched every single game. So, like, when everyone was telling me, oh, dude, you guys got Wiggins. I'm like, dude, I love Wiggins. I have his jersey. But Joel Embiid is going to be maybe the best player in the NBA if he stays healthy. And then he got hurt, and they lost in the second round to Stanford. Do you think they would have lost to Stanford with Embiid? No. I think they'd probably run, the whole table. I think they win the tournament with Embiid. But without him, they were not the same team. Kroenke just won a Stanley Cup this past Sunday. Yes, he did. Up until Game 6, Draymond had more fouls than points in that final series. Oh, stop. That's so funny. Man, if I'm the Seahawks, I'm getting a deal done with DK on an extension as soon as possible to put more pressure on the Niners now that McLaurin is locked up. Oh, I am too. That deal should have already been done. I honestly kind of have this suspicion that they're going to, if they sign DK, they're going to trade him. Like, it's going to be a sign and trade. I think they're 100% trading DK Metcalf. I don't know. I just get that feeling. Yo, the Sixers trying to pick up PJ Tucker for $10 million a year still had me floored. That's hilarious. That's hilarious. Wait, is Dejounte Murray a free agent? Is that who you were talking? Like, what? He's like one of my favorite players right now. I love watching him play. There's no way he's a free agent. There's just no way. Levine Harden, Bridges, Ayton, Brunson, Beal, Sexton, Anthony Simons, Peyton, Bruce Brown, Nicholas Claxton, DiVincenzo, Hartenstein, Kyle Anderson. I'm not seeing him on here. Yeah, I'm not seeing him here. Why was Bobby Portis so good last year? When the Knicks got him, he couldn't rebound. Then this year, he just threw together a 14.6 points per game, 9.1 rebounds per game season. Like, where did that come from? He was never on that level. Oh, Bismack Biyombo, the meme. Jake, I wonder if the Rams are saying money to... yeah, I mean, they have to be saving money. Well, they have to already have an idea of how they're going to re-sign McVay. They'll probably have a deal before the season starts. No, he's not a bust. He's not a bust at all. Yeah, Bennett is... Oh, dear God. Poor Bennett. The biggest draft bust maybe ever. As a Spurs fan, I'm hoping we don't trade Deontay. I don't know why you would. Deontay does everything. He's a point guard who is probably the closest thing that you're going to get aside from Westbrook to averaging a triple-double. The only reason they would drop Deontay would be to tank for a draft pick, to be honest. Which, like, why? Is there anybody out there that's really worth drafting? Like, I mean, I guess, I don't know, 2023 NBA draft mock or whatever. Like, who's the top guy? It's Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama. Victor Wembanyama. He's in France, 7'2", 209. He's considered Kristaps ×2. Interesting. They're also talking about Scoot Anderson. I like that name. Scoot Anderson, they're saying, is prime Russell Westbrook. That's his comparison. Nick Smith, comparison Gilbert Arenas. Dariq Whitehead, comparison Bradley Beal. Anthony Black, comparison Josh Giddey. Why the hell are there two Arkansas guys in the top 5? Since when is Arkansas getting all these recruits? There's another Arkansas guy in the top 12. So there's 3 in the top 12, 2 in the top 5. Derek Lively from Duke is the only name I recognize. Caleb Love I recognize. I would love Caleb Love. I was a big fan of his in the tournament. Yeah, I don't... There's no one here that like I really recognize aside from those two. Apparently this Victor Wembanyama or whatever is going to be the #1 overall pick from what I'm seeing. Alrighty then. Jake, who do you think the Lakers will get in free agency? Any ideas? Who do you like to see? Normally I have ideas, but I just don't know like what the Lakers can spend. I just want Monk back, and I mean, I wouldn't mind grabbing a guy like DiVincenzo, who just hasn't been utilized to the best of his, skill set. So I wouldn't mind bringing in DiVincenzo. That would be kind of where I would go. Getting a guy like that, maybe getting some veterans in there. But I know Rubio's going to be a hot commodity. It'd be cool if the Lakers got him. They wouldn't be able to, though, but I don't know. Nurkic would be cool. I wouldn't mind Harrell, but he would never come back because he was pissed that the Lakers traded him within reason. Wiggins definitely not a bust, but even if he was, he's not the biggest. Yes. Bingo. Yeah, you don't think that the Seahawks would trade DK Metcalf? I do. I think they consider it. I think they're considering Tyler Lockett. Gotcha. I think that would be a mistake to trade him. I would not be a fan of that. Guy's 25 years old. Why would the Hawks get him? Why would the Hawks need him? They have Trae Young. Like, are you kidding me? They're gonna have him and Trae Young in their their backcourt. That's insane. I don't. That seems like the most unspurs thing I've ever seen. I don't know. Unless he's orchestrating it. Unless Dejounte Murray is like pushing them, or Dejounte, I don't even know how to say his name. But unless he's pushing them to trade him, this is ridiculous. And to be honest, everyone should be interested because the guy is an absolute talent. Oh my god. Trade to the Hawks is imminent? That's nuts. I mean, this is where I wish the Lakers didn't have anybody on the roster because I would love to go out and get Simons and go out and try and trade for Murray. Like, that would be so cool, but yeah. This is why I said that they should try and trade LeBron, AD, and Westbrook or build around Westbrook for the next, few years and then have somebody take over. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Just ideas. Wow, you really think Julian Edelman's going to come back? I don't know about that one. I think Gronk might come back, but I don't think Edelman. Yeah, stay away from Minnesota. Yeah, I definitely feel that. They were nice. They just weren't nice enough. KU, baby. Nah. It's all love. I honestly have a lot of respect for UNC, and their fans were really, really cool during the whole thing. So, you know. Last name like that, you know he's about to be a stud. Anyamada. I can't even remember the guy's name. Oh, apparently everyone's going nuts about him, though, on Twitter. I'm looking at it right now. So funny. Yeah, I've been seeing that, like, the Lakers want to bring back Kuzma and KCP, and I'm like, then why did you get rid of Vogel? Are you admitting that you doomed Vogel? Are you admitting that by you trading away Vogel's pieces that you broke up his team and then you fired him and blamed him like he was the reason? Like, how bad would that look if the Lakers did go out and get Kuzma again and they went out and got Kentavious Caldwell-Pope? That would look really bad. I hope they don't do that. I would lose respect for the Lakers if they did that because that looks like that's a really bad look. That doesn't, yeah, that's kind of weird. I don't know how that really helps. I agree with you there. That's crazy. Yeah, as long as he doesn't hit his knee on the coffee table again or whatever the hell he did. I've never seen a bone. I can't even say it. I've never seen a bone bruise sideline someone an entire year. I mean, we're talking about a freaking bone bruise that sidelined him for the entire year. I could see Edelman if he came back. I wouldn't be surprised if he came back to the if he came back in the NFL and signed with the Rams. Like if Edelman came back and Cooper Kupp or somebody like that went down, I wouldn't be surprised if he signed with the Rams. Jake would love to have Monk back. Oh yeah, I would love to have Monk back. Catch you later, Jake and Remley. Got to get back to work. Grind don't stop. See you, Rusty. Thanks so much for stopping by. Appreciate you. Back in my day, Pierce left on a wheelchair and came back the same game. Oh, God. As a Berkeley fan, I'm never concerned about us being particularly good in the season. Just love the fact we produce potential studs. Might have most stud pros combined with the worst teams. NFL segue. I see the Jets AFC rivals all starting out 1-3 with possibly Buffalo starting 2-2. The Jets at 4-0 will make Salah the king of the North, or at least the AFC North. Yeah, all right. I want to ask you guys, what the hell did the Jets do to the NFL to schedule the entire AFC North back to back to back to back? The Jets have to play the Ravens, they have to play the Browns, they have to play the Bengals, and they have to play the Steelers all in a row. That's ridiculous to me. What? There's no separation. They're just like, nope, we're just throwing it right at you right away. You're not even going to get a Bills game out of the way. Nope, just going to go right into you're going to just have to take down the AFC North. Very weird. The schedules... Ugh. The schedules have gotten very weird, to be honest with you. I think they go 2-2 or 1-3, but I think I have them. I think they can win 10 games this year. I think the Jets can go 10-7. I talked about it last night on the show, but I do think the Jets could go 10-7. Yeah, I think they'll lose to the Ravens and Bengals, and potentially the Steelers, but I think they'll definitely beat the Browns. I think they start off slow and then they get hot towards the end of the year. Movies or TV shows. Well, Miss Marvel comes out tomorrow. So I've been watching that. I've been watching The Boys. Kenobi finished, so I was watching that. I saw the Book of Eli. I saw The Lost City. That's really been it. I want to see Spiderhead. I heard it's from some people it's really good. From some people it's terrible. AK told me it's very bad and I'm not going to like it, but I want to eventually at some point check out Spiderhead. And I got some other movies I need to finally see Pulp Fiction. I've been waiting to see that forever, and I've never gotten around to it. So I need to eventually see that. I need to see, and I always keep putting it off, but I need to see the new Blade Runner. I have not seen the new one with Jared Goff. I've not seen it. I know Jared Goff's not in it. It's Ryan Gosling, but I mean, the two are the same person. Come on now. They look exactly the same. Pats the Super Bowl. Hopium. We'll see. I think that their draft, Mahmood, if I'm being honest, their draft was very weird. Like, drafting Bailey Zappi was bizarre. I'm happy for him. I saw the video when he got drafted, and it made me feel good for him, but it was just bizarre to see them draft a quarterback in the 4th round after they just drafted Mac Jones. I don't know. Yeah, I'm really enjoying Miss Marvel. It's really hit home for me. I thought it really... They've done it really well. Anybody complaining about it, I don't think really understands the source material, which is fine, but... Or has an issue with the other things, which, I think some people in here we've talked about before, they know where I'm going with that. Let's see here. What's up, Scott? How we doing? Do you think the Packers are being overrated? I still see people having them around 13 wins, even though they haven't had a very good offseason, worse on offense and in defense. I think they're pretty much like a similar team. I mean, they're not going to have, Devontae Adams, but they did go out and they got Christian Watson, who I think is going to have like a pretty big role. I don't know. I don't think I wouldn't necessarily overrated. Maybe getting a little bit overrated, but not like I don't think it's that bad. Like I see what you mean. Maybe not 13 wins. Maybe they lose a win out of it. 12 maybe, but I don't know. Like I think the Vikings are going to shock everybody and win that division. That's what I think, but you know. I just watched Awake on Netflix. It was a cool premise, but in my opinion, they could have done a much better job with it. What was Awake about? Could you explain that? Because I actually haven't heard of that or seen it, believe it or not. Doctor Doom is all set to appear in MCU. Yes, can't wait for that. I still need to see Signs. Yeah, you're not the only person that has mentioned that, believe it or not. You're the first person, and then all of a sudden, I got random, hey, have you seen the Sign? Why haven't you seen Signs? You definitely need to see that. So I need to see it at some point. I also need to see Tenet. I guess it's a really trippy movie. It was made by Christopher Nolan, if I'm not mistaken. That's what I was told anyway. So I do need to see that at some point. EEAAO was actually really good, though. What the hell is that? I don't know what that is. On a Rams note, I read an article saying soldiers might lose backup job to Perk. I know we talked about that the other day. I'm assuming you meant Wolford. Yeah, no, I know. How does it feel to have the same name as a star running back in the NFL? Or are you that star running back in the NFL and you're secretly a Rams fan? Aaron Jones. Have you seen Jurassic Dominion yet? I have not. I want to see it. I gotta say, we talked about this the other day. Actually, we talked about it last night on MCU Edge. I think my friend Kevin brought it up, and Nolan knows where I'm going with this, with because he was in there as well. When it comes to Jurassic Dominion or whatever, but man, like the Jurassic movies are about dinosaurs chasing people, eating people, etc. I don't know why we need a DBQ essay document about why the plot was lame. I don't think there's supposed to be that much of a plot. Dinosaurs are running rampant on the planet. That's the freaking plot. Like they're, it's like I don't know. People go way too crazy with that stuff. Y'all need to shut up and trust the Belichick process. He's done more with less. It's true. Jets play the Ravens and Bengals at home, so that is why I give them the edge in those games. Browns and Steelers with a rookie quarterback in his fourth game are easier than expected road games. I don't know necessarily, though, if they're going to do that. I don't know if they're going to play, what's his face? Pickett. I don't know if Pickett's going to win the job over Trubisky. Think about this. If Trubisky wins the job, plays well, builds up his, trade stock, you can get something out of him. You can turn a simple free agent signing into value. Quarterbacks are currency in this league when used correctly. I think the Steelers would be making a mistake because of that. If they think Pickett's ready, I would still play Trubisky and see if you can kind of trade him. We'll see. Everything, everywhere, all at once. Why does that sound so... That's why it sounds so familiar. Oh, it's the multiverse one. That's it. It's a multiverse movie. I need to see that eventually. And you liked it? I can't even find your original comment, Mahmood. Oh, yeah, you did like it. Okay. Awake was buried. Although it was basically a movie about a global event that made it so people couldn't fall asleep and the whole world just lost their shit. Oh, so that's me every night. That's actually really interesting. Man, I like Awake too. People have a condition in which they can't sleep. Good low budget movie. I mean, I had that condition. He puts F in the chat. Jake, how are your Yankees doing? I'm waiting for a Dodgers Yankees World Series. They're doing very well. I mean, they started off the game yesterday against the Oakland A's, who will soon be the Las Vegas A's or whatever they're going to call them. And it wasn't very good right off the bat, but they came back and they ended up blowing them away. And the Yankees are 54-20 and are 32-9 at home. If you don't know baseball, you don't have to, because you should just know that 54-20 is very freaking good. To put it into, simple terms, the Yankees are 7 games ahead of the next best team in the league, which is the Mets. The Astros are 8 games back and tied with the Dodgers. So the Dodgers and Astros are tied for the 3rd best team in the league. And the Yankees have a 73% win percentage, which is just bizarre. Like, that's insane. They also have almost 400 runs scored this year. And if that puts it in perspective, the Detroit Tigers have always scored 216 to this point. And I almost said the Rams. The Yankees have only given up 228 runs. And to put it in perspective, the Nationals have already given up 415. Like, the Nationals have given up more runs than the Yankees have scored, which is saying a lot. Yankees have a plus 148 run differential. Dodgers have a plus 128 run differential. And then the Cardinals are in 3rd with 69 run differential. Speaking of shows that you may have you watched the season 5 of the amazing Netflix show Stranger Things? Every time, man. Every time. Yeah, I'm probably never watching that show again. Soldiers, that's going to be a meme. It's pretty lit. LOL. I tell people all the time I'm the real Aaron Jones, and I show them my high school highlights. I love it. Critics want an Oliver Stone plot for Jurassic Park. Oh, not a fan, Willie? Oh, man. The amount of hate us Rams fans get, I'm pretty sure everyone a secret Rams fan. Yeah. Jake, what is the latest on Gronk or Julio Jones signings? Gronk's retired. Julio Jones, I don't know. But that's interesting. We'll see if he signs anywhere. Might as well build his stock up. I agree. Again, F in the chat. Waiting for the alt-universe crossover mixing Planet of the Apes and Jurassic World. Just put a monkey on a goddamn Velociraptor already. Las Vegas A's. Gonna sound odd for a while. Yeah, so how would you say their name? Would you call them the Las Vegas A's? Would you call them the Vegas A's? Would you call them the Vegas Athletics? The Las Vegas Athletics? Would you call them... I mean, you're not going to call them the Nevada A's. That's dumb as hell. Or A's from the Strip. That's really dumb. But I've seen all of those mentioned. I would call them the Vegas... The Vegas Athletics. That's what I would call them. Or the Vegas A's for short. But... probably, yeah. Nationals packing it up and getting ready for the next season. I don't even know what the hell the Nationals are trying to accomplish. It's hard to believe that this team, 2 years ago, won the World Series? I mean, last year, they go 65-97. 2020, they win. I'm pretty sure they won the World Series in 2020. I'm pretty sure. Or is it 2019? Might have been 2019. So I don't even remember. Was it 2019? It was. Yes, it was 2019. They were up 2-0. They lost 3 straight to Houston, and then they won 2 straight and beat Houston, and I loved it. And they got to celebrate on Houston's turf. It's great. So 2019, they win the World Series. 2020, they don't even make the playoffs. They go 26-34 in a shortened season. 2021, they go 65-97. And 2022, they only have 28 wins. They already have lost 48 games. I can't believe how far that team has fallen. It's kind of sad. Jake, that is a question I want to ask you. Are the A's staying in Oakland, Howard Terminal Stadium site, or they end up moving to Vegas? I think they're going to move to Vegas. The other day, it might have actually been yesterday. I've lost track because I'm doing lives every day. They basically said that like the MLB is going to literally get rid of all the fees to relocate. So they're pushing for this. Like the MLB wants a team in Vegas. So I mean, we're gonna see the Vegas A's, I think, and we're gonna see it very soon. Probably within the next 2 years, maybe even next year. I don't know how quickly they can get that done. Because I mean, I don't know. Would Vegas play in, that Raiders state? I don't know what they would do, but I mean, they got to build a stadium, I think. But yeah, maybe they'll play at Allegiant. I don't know. I'm actually gonna look right now because it's interesting, right? Okay, so they're talking about a completely new venue, new ballpark on the Strip. That would be nuts. Yeah, this is a done deal. This is an absolute done deal. The A's are absolutely moving from Oakland. They're going to be right on the Strip. This is 100% happening. It would take some crazy event for this to not happen. Oakland is 100% losing the A's. They're 25-50. I mean, this team is 100% moving. I'm a Yankee fan, but as a team, they are hitting 240, which is ridiculous. That success is not sustainable. Well, that's 16th in the league, though. So, as much as I agree with you, like, I hate when guys don't hit at least not 300, like, at least 250. Like, if you're not even hitting 250, I have an issue with that. But the Yankees are first in runs. They're second in slugging percentage. They're fifth in on base. That's honestly what allows the average to not be that big of a deal. Because they're fifth in on base percentage. They're second in ERA. They're tied for seventh in quality starts. They're first in whip. They're first in batting average against. The Yankees they're fine. I mean, the 240 average, like, yeah, it's not the best, but it's in the middle of the league. They find a way to get on base. They get a lot of walks. They draw a lot of walks from Gallo and Hicks and Judge and Rizzo. So, Gronk's competitive ass about to come back out of retirement to retire again just so he can say he has more retirements than Brady. That's true. Vegas Athletics at best. Yes, I think so. Las Vegas loathings. Las Vegas self-loathing. Jurassic Park / Planet of the Apes crossover, Kong vs. Godzilla. 2019, they won the World Series. Okay, yeah. Did you ever predict Bobby Wagner or Ernest Jones' stat line for the season? No, I'm not done with the prediction videos yet. Not even close. But I will get those up. Not tonight. I'm going to a concert, but right, they won a chip a couple years back and fell into purgatory. I remember because Dodgers choked that game. Yeah. Las Vegas, thank God, we're out of Oaklanders. LOL. Minor league field. Las Vegas, small market, but good one. But can it support more teams? I absolutely think it can. And I think we saw that. Here's a good example. We're going to go here. Let's see. Trying to see the attendance here. So, yeah, Vegas, attendance-wise, had the best attendance percentage in the NHL last year. Despite the fact that they didn't make the playoffs, they were incredibly disappointing. They had the best attendance. Overall, 95.9% when you include road games. Their games were the most attended. So, Vegas had the highest attendance for the NHL. Let's look at the NFL, right? Because that's interesting. Like, where are the Raiders, right? Raiders have a lot of fans. And the Raiders here, let's see. Las Vegas Raiders, 22nd in the league, it looks like. $22nd? Is that it? 15th. Okay. In total, 15th in the league in attendance. The Rams were third, actually. Rams were third when you combine road and home. Raiders were 15th. So, you have, Vegas they didn't become first overnight. Vegas had to build that fan base. They've been around for a little bit now. So, you look in, say, 2020 to 2021, and obviously that was a shortened year. So that's probably not the best case because they didn't even play in Vegas. But 2019, we'll say, right? Vegas in 2019 was 5th. Okay. So then we look at 2018 season, and Vegas was 12th. And I think 2017 was the first year. Vegas was 17th. So it was a gradual build from 17th to 12th to 5th to being the best team attendance-wise in the NHL. And I think that's the thing is that, to get to the number one, that just shows you the potential of what Vegas is as a sports market. So because of that, the Raiders, who are, what? That was their first year in Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe, no, probably not. Let's see, anyway. NFL attendance. So the Raiders were, say, 15th in 2021. Or, actually, they're really 22nd. That's what we'll say. Yeah, Vegas was 23rd in 2019. Unless they're calling it Vegas, but they were actually Oakland. Yeah, so there's been some growth there. I guess Oakland was second in attendance in 2018. I need to see the timeline. So they moved to Vegas in 2020. So 2018, in 2018 in Oakland, they were the second team. Yeah. They were second in attendance. 2019, they fell to 23rd. Probably because everyone found out that they were moving, and everyone's like, all right, screw you. So then 2020 rolls along. And, of course, there's no fans in the stadium, so that's entirely pointless. And then 2021, yeah. So this is the last year was the first year with fans, and they're basically creating a new fan base. I mean, there's probably some Raiders fans already, but 94.1% filled. So it's there's 22nd. They're right below Buffalo and New Orleans. But yeah, teams that sold out every single game. There's only 6 teams last year in the NFL that sold out every single game. Kansas City, Minnesota, Denver, the LA Rams, Cleveland, and New England. That's it. Philadelphia, 99.9. So, I mean, they came close to selling out every game. But, yeah. Every game was sold out for Kansas City Chiefs, Minnesota Vikings, Denver Broncos, Los Angeles Rams, Cleveland Browns, New England Patriots. Every game. Now, what I want to look up is the baseball attendance. Because that is interesting as far as where the A's are at right now. I think it makes a lot of sense to leave Oakland. But, yeah, Oakland is last in the league in 2022. But I think a lot of that is also because of the looming rumors. Dodgers are number 1 in attendance. I thought LA doesn't get people to go to their games. That's surprising. St. Louis is second. Atlanta's third. Yankees are fourth. Padres are fifth. But anyway, attendance. Oakland is averaging not even 10,000 fans a game. They're averaging 8,358 fans a game. I mean, the team's terrible this year. I get that. But 2021, Oakland was 29th. 2020, well, we know what happened in 2020. So, Oakland was 24th in 2019. In 2018, Oakland was 27th. In 2017, Oakland was 29th. In 2016, Oakland was 29th. So, Oakland's been an absolute dumpster fire when it comes to filling the seats. I mean, that's really what we're getting at here. And so I think it makes sense. I think the A's are 100%. They're gonna go to Vegas, and I would call it a done deal. And I think it's gonna help them. They need it. Baseball needs it because baseball needs to grow. They need to get back to where they were. Looking at some of those attendance, I mean, it went way down. It's way down this year, but In reality, how did they not rename to the Las Vegas Aces? Because that's one of the minor league teams, I think. Perfect play on words. It's the perfect imagery for a team in Vegas. It's true. Jake, LA and Vegas will be the 2 best cities in sports. That's the hope from the sports themselves. The sports leagues want LA and Vegas to be the epicenter of sports. Training camp starts in mid-February. Or not, I almost said mid-February. Wow. Mid-July. I'm thinking around the 20th, around that. They're going to build a new basketball arena, soccer stadium coming to Vegas as well. Yes. Yeah, but just get rid of the Kings in general. Yeah, I'm with you there. The Sacramento Kings are terrible. Vegas Golden Knights, such a good name. I agree. What? Rams have third in attendance, but we have no fans. Okay, I'll stop. If NBA expand to Vegas, should give Seattle an NBA team? I mean, theoretically, if the NBA expands to Vegas, it better be a relocation, because if they just put another team, and we have 31 NBA or whatever, however many NBA teams, if we have an odd number of NBA teams, that's gonna really piss me off. So I would hope that they would expand and keep it even, but I don't think you can have a stadium on the Las Vegas Strip unless we have a Starship Enterprise transporters. Traffic was horrible there, especially at night. How is LV Raider traffic like? I don't know. I have no idea. I've not actually been there when anything was going on. The last time I was in Vegas, and the only time I was in Vegas, it was great, by the way. I went there and they were putting up the arena, but the Vegas Knights were a year, not a year out. They were actually going to be there that year, but their season hadn't started yet, so I had not seen the traffic from that. Yeah, it says they were third in attendance. The reason the Raiders left was because Oakland wouldn't build them a new stadium and Mark was out. That's very true. They keep saying the Rams have no fan base, pretty much. What are your top 5 quarterbacks in next year's draft class? Oh, Lord. Let me put together something real quick. I just got to look it up. I know right off the rip I'm probably going to go with Bryce Young. And I always forget the other kid's name. CJ Stroud. Finally remembered. Oh, my God. I can't tell you how many times I forgot that guy's name. I don't know why. Just like my brain can't even compute. Like, oh, CJ Stroud. I don't know who that is. So, yeah. So I'll go Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, and then I'll probably go with. I like Grayson McCall. I'll probably go. This is tough. This is really tough because I kind of want to go with Grayson McCall at 3. That might be a little high, but I really like him out of Coastal Carolina. I like Cam Ward out of Washington State. All right, screw it. I'm going with Bryce Hall, C.J. Stroud, Grayson McCall, Cam Ward, and then I'm going to go with Will Levis from or Levis from Kentucky. That's how I'm going to do it. So that's how I would rank them. Good question. 30 NBA teams, yeah. So it would be 31 if they just moved a team, or they just put a team in Vegas and didn't put another one. If they had to put another one, then put it in Seattle, in my opinion. I don't know. I think St. Louis, that they'd be an interesting option for a team. Yeah, I agree. They have to have 2 more. Amen to that. Taxpayers in New York are paying for the Bills Stadium, by the way, in case you didn't know. If they put in another West team, they'd have to put in another Eastern team. Buffalo Braves return? That'd be interesting. Actually, scratch that. Wouldn't make any sense. Every division got one. Has anyone in here actually been to Oakland Stadium? It's freaking disgusting. Half of the stalls were out of order or covered in crap and piss. Seats suck. Floors are sticky. Everything overpriced, too. Yeah, I heard it's terrible. I heard it. The best way it was described to me is that the inside is as bad as the outside. And that's all I needed to know. Because I remember when they had the Raiders play there. That Coliseum is garbage. It's totally outdated. Now, here's the problem. You're going to have to knock that shit down. Because once the Athletics move from there, what, are you going to have that for concerts? No one wants to even go there. It's like, oh, man, that Coliseum, that they spent so much money making that. That thing is not worth anything. Atlanta Hawks used to be in St. Louis, yes. So I think St. Louis should get a team. That'd be cool. Guys, it's been awesome. Another really good stream. We went early. We didn't get a ton of people today because obviously we went so early. But it's been a lot of fun, and I appreciate you guys. If you haven't already, be sure to subscribe. Or, I at least encourage you to subscribe. I don't want to say, like, you have to subscribe. It does help me out. Helps out the channel. be sure to hit the like button, which is also known as the thumbs up. And on top of it, if you're on mobile, you can hit that little bell icon. As soon as you hit that, you can actually get all of the alerts anytime I post a video. So if you are somebody that's like, oh, I missed your video, and you don't have the bell icon clicked, click the bell icon. If you're somebody that missed my video, but you had the bell icon clicked and you're like, why didn't the bell icon go off? Make sure on your phone, whether it's Android or iPhone or whatever, make sure you have notifications on in your phone settings, because you have to do that. And it does tell me analytically there are, X amount of people that don't have it on. So, make sure you do that. But hey, it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate you guys. Hey, he said it. He said it, not me. Appreciate you, Ryan. Appreciate all of you. It's been a lot of fun, talking with you. I'll be back tomorrow. I don't even know what time I set it for, but I'll be back tomorrow. We're doing this every day. We're doing it every day, right? We're just going to do it every day. Why can't I come on for at least an hour? It's almost 2 hours. I'm just going to get ready for my concert, and I'm going to head out of here. But, again, thank you guys. You guys, if you're Rams fans, you can check out my Rams content. I just dropped a few videos today. If you're a Jets fan, I just dropped a video on Michael Carter. If you're a fantasy football fan, you should check out all of my videos on those stat projections, see if they might help you out and help you potentially win your fantasy league. But that's going to do it for me. You guys take care, and I'll see you soon.